Today I'm going to be explaining the real reason that cryptocurrency crashed and where the crypto markets could head from here. Now I want to talk about all the important support and resistance levels and everything that's happening in the news, and of course give an update on Terra Luna because that was a big part of the catalyst that caused this fiasco in the first place. But if you're new to the channel, welcome back. My name is Brendan and this is the Crypto Analyst channel. It's great to have you all here, whether this is your first time or whether you are a tenured veteran. Welcome everybody, and it's going to be a great Wednesday because we have quite the price action happening on Bitcoin as well as a lot of the altcoins, and there's a lot of positive news out there as well. But starting things off with Bitcoin over here, we're looking at the 3-day chart just so we can fit everything in here pretty properly. And of course, as I've discussed in the previous videos, we fell out of this large rising channel that Bitcoin was previously sitting in. Now, at the end of the day, this isn't the worst deal because there are still lots of other support levels on Bitcoin, and the good news is that we are still holding several of those support levels. The most significant one that we actually got a chance to talk to some of our altcoin alert members about yesterday, and we've also got to talk to some of the Crypt Nation members about, is this underlying support level right over here around $29,000. Now, if we zoom out, you can see that we touched this point not once, not twice, but now 3 separate times towards the downside. And all of these times we have held above this area. But I know what you're saying. You're going, Brendan, but we've broken below this. We can clearly see that wick on this 3-day chart that caused price action to go down to nearly $25,000. And you would be right, but what I want to take note of over here is that all of the candle body closings, and we'll zoom in on this guy on a 1-day time scale in just a moment, but take note of all the candle body closings. All of the candle body closings in here are above this point, including the wicks. Same thing over here, all of the candle body closings are also above this large support line, including the wicks. Now the difference is that when we zoom over here to our most recent attack on the downside, Bitcoin is still holding above this level. And the reason that that's important is because candle body closings are arguably some of the most important parts of candles. Now, we always want to count wicks because it shows us the extreme points that the candle has reached throughout the course of its lifetime, whether that's a 1 day or 1 hour or even a 1 week. But in this case, for us to have all of our candle body closings above this support line is telling me that there's a lot of buyers in this area and people are very, very comfortable buying Bitcoin below $29,000. And this would go hand in hand with the previous things that we saw from the multiple touch points that we have seen throughout the course of 2021. And we're still seeing that same theme throughout 2022. So although there's an argument over here that this is just a piercing candle, we are rapidly approaching support to see what Bitcoin's going to do next and how the crypto markets are going to react to this. Are we going to have another candle body closing above this major support area, or is this going to break and are we going to see a retest of the mid 20,000s, maybe even down to as low as $25,000? And then if that breaks, what could happen next? Are we headed to 20,000, 15,000, etc., and so on? And so I think that going into the teens is extremely unlikely, but if we were to do that, I think it would be very similar to this, where we would get a very large piercing candle that would wick down into that area. It would see a lot of buying pressure because as we approach the previous all-time high, and the closer that we get to this previous all-time high from 2018 over here, the more buying pressure there's going to be. And I think that there are going to be rapid amounts as we approach this the lower $20,000 area, which is right over here. And so I want to zoom back out to this 3 days so that I can properly show you guys what's happening. But if this does happen, I would imagine that if Bitcoin falls, Ethereum and a lot of the altcoins are going to follow it. I know over on Crypt Nation, I was just talking about a specific altcoin that was having different forms of bullish divergence and what that meant for that crypto. But something that I also made sure to note over there is that if Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to dump, the odds are a lot of these altcoins are going to follow it. So if you want to join Crypt Nation, I think it's a great place to be, and I have a link to that in the description down below as well. But for the general health of the crypto market, this is really just a game of almost cat and mouse and seeing how are we reacting to support and how are we reacting to resistance. And I really don't see this as a major trading area. I'm kind of just sitting on the sidelines, slowly dollar cost averaging down here into a couple different cryptos, but nothing too major because I really don't see this as a crazy trade zone, and that's something I've been telling the people in Crypt Nation for for a while now. But if you are from Crypt Nation, welcome. Throw something in the chat or in the comment section down below. And let's move on to the news. Now, ApeCoin is planning to integrate with Polygon amid their NFT minting backlash. And this article is about a week or two old, but I still think that it is unique because this goes to show where the NFT community is right now. When there are these very large mints, there tends to be a little bit of chaos. And it's not just Bored Ape Yacht Club, but some of the larger mints as well have issues with this. In fact, gas fees went up to anywhere from 2 to 5 Ethereum per gas fee transaction, meaning if you wanted to do a single mint of the ApeCoin deed, I forget what it's called, I think it's called Other Worlds or Other Side or something like that. If you wanted to do a single other deed, it would have costed you around 2 to 5 Ethereum in gas fees on top of how much that deed cost in the first place. So people were, non-coincidentally paying tens of thousands of dollars just to get these different plots of land, and that made a lot of people upset, even though ApeCoin was promising that they would pay back any kinds of wrongs for the mislabeled gas fees. So a proposal that they have is to partner with Matic to hopefully get these sorts of things solved, or at least have them open as an option for minting in the future so that people don't have to pay nearly as high of gas fees. And this is a pretty cool idea of people using other alternatives to Ethereum, especially when it comes to the NFT world. I think a lot of people like to flock to something like Solana, but we are seeing the rise of Polygon and Avalanche NFTs slowly but surely as well. In further news, Polygon burns more than 650,000 Matic after the launch of their burn mechanism. It seems like Polygon really does have a lot of really positive news coming out about them. And so one of the things that we highlighted in one of our recent videos is that despite a lot of these other layer ones having issues right now, Solana, obviously Terra Luna, Ethereum, and I believe even a little bit on AVAX as well, Polygon is really kind of shining and performing, and they are working over here as a really nice solution that people seem to be pretty happy with. They haven't been in a lot of the news in a negative sense for quite some time now, and they're just having good news stack. So I am liking kind of the rally that we're seeing over here in Polygon, and I also, of course, love a burning mechanism for any ecosystem, which is going to lead me to my next article about Terra Luna, because we have to talk about this and Terra Luna's proposed plan. Now, Terra Luna and UST were the two popular cryptocurrencies that crashed. It was around $40 to $50 billion that was nearly wiped out of the ecosystem between the two cryptos over here, one which was a layer 1 and the other one which was a stablecoin. After this happened, there have been a number of proposed plans for how Terra can recover over here, and the truth be told, I don't think Terra is going to have any kind of miraculous recovery to anywhere that it previously was. Its supply is significantly larger. I think it's somewhere around like 7 trillion now. And so they've stopped the minting part of Terra so that it is no longer rapidly minting more Terra as people are getting rid of their UST. But the problem here is that their founder, Do Kwon, has lost almost all credibility in the space. For every 99 investors that have left, I think there's probably one that still trust him. And this is what happens when you have nearly $50 billion wiped out of an ecosystem in a matter of a week. I mean, like this is the worst cryptocurrency crash from a specific crypto that we've ever seen. And I talked about this in my previous videos, but $50 billion or $40 billion is the most that the cryptocurrency ecosystem has lost from a single or two projects combined. And it's not like they just fell in value. I mean, both of them went to nearly zero. So the proposed plan here is that they're going to try to fork Terra into Terra Classic and then Terra New, which is just going to be plain Terra. So you'll have LUNC, which is Luna Classic, and then you'll have Terra Luna Normal, which will be the new Terra Luna, and they're going to fork it so that both of these chains can coexist, which I have only heard everyone be adamantly against, as well as myself. I think it's a terrible idea. There are very, very few forks that I can name that are actually successful and good and people like, and they're useful and alive. For the most part, forks are a great mechanism, but I don't think that's the way to approach this. I think the way to approach this is through buybacks and burns and implementing burning mechanisms. There's a lot better ways that you could try to recover this, and I think this just gets perceived as sheer laziness or trying to take the easy way out of a really bad situation. Now, Do Kwon will later be called in front of the South Korean parliament to answer for everything that happened over here. And again, I just don't see this as a viable solution. And so voting has started, and in some miraculous way, the majority of votes at the time of making this video are for this fork to have Luna Classic and Luna Normal. And yeah, I don't want to overly rant here, but I just think it's an awful idea, adding on top of the awfulness and craziness, for lack of a better words, that has happened in the Taro ecosystem. I think it's really kind of piling on to the unfortunate situation, to say the least. So that's my 2 cents about this over here right now. Terra's in a predicament, and I don't see the Luna Classic and Luna Normal being any kind of a top tier solution. So mildly frustrating over there, and I'm someone who had very, very little exposure to the Terra ecosystem. Less than 1%, probably less than 0.5% of my portfolio was exposed to Terra Luna and UST, like probably 0.5%, if that. And so I lost very, very little on this, but it's still frustrating to see the proposed plans and how this has been handled so far from someone who's been in the space for a really long time. Now, in more good news, Robinhood is going to be letting users hold their own cryptos and NFTs as it reaches to grow beyond just stock trading. This has been a move from Robinhood for the last 4 years or so, where they have been trying to push into the world of cryptocurrency more and more and more. And it started out with just being able to trade things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And then they started adding more different kinds of altcoins like Shiba Inu and Doge and plenty of other ones to follow up on that. And in recent years, they have been trying to add self-custodial wallets, places where you can trade and withdraw and deposit cryptocurrency, access to the NFT industry, and a couple of other features as well. And so this is what they are highlighting over here, is saying that they are going to be trying to compete with Coinbase and also major cryptocurrency platforms by offering this form of self-custodial wallets where you will directly own your cryptocurrency, which in the past you have not been able to do on Robinhood. All you were able to do was buy a price correlation to the crypto that you were buying, but you were not actually owning the cryptocurrency because you could not withdraw it or deposit cryptocurrency into your Robinhood account. And so now that you can withdraw, trade, deposit, you own that actual crypto, hence why you can send it. Now, I'm going to do it an own here in quotation marks, because if you have your crypto on a centralized exchange, you only own so much of it. I mean, at the end of the day, they kind of have your cryptocurrency in a wallet, but you don't really own it. At any point, if the exchange got really corrupt and wanted to, they could do whatever they wanted with those funds. And they have all of the passwords stored on a centralized place, which makes it potentially accessible to more people than just you. So, you only own your crypto so much on a centralized exchange, but this is still a step in the right direction for Robinhood, going from really no user ownership to some user ownership. And so at the end of the day, I see this as a positive thing, because more people are going to be exposed to the crypto markets and NFTs. And that's really what we want to see. We want to see this kind of exposure and growth happening, because this is just how we further the adoption process. So at the end of the day, you love it, hate it, Robinhood is gaining crypto exposure for people around the world. But that's going to pretty much sum up this video. I guess as we enter into this, the main thing that I'm looking at is we are rapidly approaching this $29,000 area. Are we going to hold it? Are we going to sell off from here? How are we going to react? And if we do go off, there's a lot of possibilities. And so I'm going to be keeping everyone updated in Crypt Nation. Probably going to go write a post on this as soon as this video gets posted about the areas that I'm looking at, because we're having a volatile day. I mean, we're already down about 6%. So I hope everyone does stay safe. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and comment. It really does help out the channel a lot. And if you really did enjoy it, make sure to share this video with someone that needs to hear this, and consider subscribing, as it does give you access to all of my future videos, and turn on those notifications so you can know when I post every Wednesday and Friday around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.